Hey guys, Helix here, and today we're having a look at Tharsis. Tharsis is a RPG strategy game. Um, I hesitated there because I don't know if I'd class it as an RPG. It's definitely a strategy, but it falls under that category on Steam. And it's a game I stumbled across. It was on sale, and it's got mixed reviews. It's not going down with the community as well as you might expect. It's not a costly game at the moment. We're looking at 10.99 in pounds. So I have no idea what that is in euros or dollars, but it's not an expensive game. And so far, I've invested 4 hours, nearly 5 hours into the game, and I've still got a fair bit to do. I've only kind of just touched the surface, so it's certainly a game that I've got faith in, and as I'll show in the video, I think that it's probably a game that more people should have faith in. It's more to it than some of the recommendations and reviews would have you believe. It's made by a company called Choice Provisions. Now, Choice Provisions have only got two games on Steam. One called Laser Life, and the other one being Tharsis. Laser Life actually has a very positive response, but it's not a game I've looked at, so I don't know if there's similarities between this game and Tharsis, but I'll maybe have a look at that for a future video. So going back to Tharsis, as I say, it's an RPG strategy game, and the easiest way to kind of describe what the game is all about is if you've seen The Martian with Matt Damon, and if you've seen Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey, then you throw in some dice, and then you've pretty much got Tharsis. There's not much more to it than that. You start off by doing a kind of default training introduction when you go to the game with one of your characters, and it kind of guides you through it. But as you see, you've got missions, and you've got the kind of what you could class as a campaign. As I'm flicking between the two here, campaign is what I tend to spend some time doing, or have spent some time doing, especially on streams. But missions are probably something that you should start with. Now, as you see, they're training, and you get different categories. You get your for training, and then you've got your endurance, your catastrophe, your strategy, and your challenge. Now, they all kind of mix together, and it tells you what you've got to do. And as you see, actually going back there, I have completed two of them. And the strategy catastrophe is probably one of the ones I would classify as one of the harder ones. I haven't tried all of them, so I can't say it's the hardest, but it's definitely one of the harder ones. And it took me quite a few attempts to do. And in future videos, I want to sit and go through each of the different missions and do the trial and error. Even if I fail, then it's a trial and error. But kind of, if I was to describe the game in my own way, I would say that it's a time-passing, luck-based strategy game. It's very luck based, but it's a good time sink if you're not wanting to go spend a lot of time on games like World of Warcraft or EVE Online, kind of your main AAA games. You don't want to be spending too much time on that. You want just something for 5-10 minutes while you're waiting for your dinner to cook or something. Then Tharsis is the game for you. What I'll do though is I'll jump into a mission just to show you what the game's all about and what you've got to do. Here we go. We've got Yuri Novak. Now he's a pilot, and I know that Yuri can pass through the ship's different entities and not take damage. Usually, if you've got your crew, if you're in flight control and you wanted to go to maintenance, but there was damaged sections of the ship along the way, you would take physical health damage as you pass through them. Yuri doesn't take that. He's a pilot. His special ability is ignoring movement damage. So going back to what the game is essentially all about is you're on this ship which is heading towards Mars. During the course of the journey, you have to stop certain events happening to your ship. So as you see here, we've got an event happening in the greenhouse, life support, and maintenance. And it kind of describes what you have to do for each of them. This is week 1. So all I'll have to do is probably in 3 weeks. So three different events. To hit 13 dice roll, 10 dice roll, and a 12 dice roll. Now Yuri actually has 5 dice at the moment, so getting each of these shouldn't be too difficult. Each of the parts of the ship also have different benefits. So going back to the overview, you've got, if you have a 5 or above, you get no movement damage for anyone that's within this flight control unit. Up to the lab, you've got an increased assist. Now here's your assist. If you roll stuff numbers, so if you rolled a 4, for instance, here, a 1 or a 6 in these modules, you would take damage. Purple ones that aren't there at the moment, dice just disappear. And your food is for replenishing dice in between weeks. You'll see another view once I finish this first week. Also looking at the hull, this is how much damage we're expecting to take this turn if I don't repair at least 1. So this is where the strategy comes in, and you're wanting to repair the one that's going to do the most damage to you. So we're going to have a look at repairing the greenhouse. And you probably had a look there yourself. You've also got your life support will, if you have 2 matching set of dice, you will regain dice. If you have, I think it's matching and something else, you get your food. You get health recovery for anyone within that bay. And you reduce the stress, because stress level is always going up. Now, also looking here, this is kind of throwing information at you, but you have a research. For any dice that you roll that you're not going to use, but you don't want to waste them, you can put them into another view, which you'll see in a second, which allows you to do research. Now, as you can see, 5, 2, and 3, that's how much research you need for each. So the repair arm, the quick patch, and the anti-hemorrhage. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the greenhouse and we're going to deploy with Yuri. So as I say, we don't want a 4, we don't want a 2, we don't want a 3. Although the 2 and the 3 aren't so critical because they're just going to become static dice. We can't re-roll them with our 2 remaining rolls. We roll once, we've rolled all 5 of our dice, which is going to happen. And we have our assist, which has stopped us taking any injury from the 4. And we've got 2 static dice. So we're going to have to put these in no matter what. But as it is, we've got enough just to make do and go. I'm also going to roll this dice again. So 1s are easy to get, 6 isn't. We'll put 6 into research and projects. And each time you fill it up, you want to use it. It has different effects. If you hit the refresh button here, which requires 1 dice, you get different things come up. So we're going to finish our deployment. And we're having our impending damage of 1 because it's in maintenance. And there we go. It's done this. And we've come to another view. It's called something else in the campaign. I can't recall what it's called. But at the moment we have 1 food, which will replenish 3 dice to Yuri. We don't need that at the moment because we're already at 4 and we would just be wasting it. You can also use cannibalism, which is kind of self-explanatory. We're going to be eating a dead crewman. This has a bad effect on us though because it will permanently reduce health. So we're just going to finish that. We're not going to do anything there. So what we're going to do now is stop the ship taking any more damage. But we also want to stop the pilot, Yuri, taking any more damage himself. Which I didn't realise was one of the items at first. I just glanced over that. We're going to deploy there. I'm happy enough to take impending damage to the hull. I just don't want Yuri taking damage. So here we need a 10, we don't want to take a 1, and we don't want to take a 2, and we have 1 assist again. So here we're rolling our 4 dice, we've taken a 1, but the assist has stopped us taking any damage. We'll put the 5 in, we'll put the 5 in. Now the 2 we're going to put into research, and even for the 1 we'll put that into research, and we'll finish our deployment. Impending damage, we're going to take that 1 damage to the hull that we're expecting to take. We still don't have the use for food, but I'm just going to use it to show you. Now that's increased us back up to 5 dice, and here is the stress level bar I was talking about. At the moment it's at a decent level. We're going to finish our deployment. We have another event. Okay, survive 5 weeks. Again, I didn't read it properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Yuri to the lab. Now I'm just hesitating there because he will take health damage, but I would prefer that than destroying the ship. So we don't want 2s. That's fine. 2s is okay. It's not going to do anything major to us. They're not the best set of dice, but we're gonna work with that. We're gonna put the we're gonna put the 3 in. We're gonna roll. Hopefully we don't get 1 again. Oh, and we did. Now, this is what I was telling you about it being a luck-based game. We're gonna put that in. There's nothing we can do. We can't take the dice out of research. Finish our deployment. And now, because I glanced over a lot of these elements, we have taken damage to the ship and we've taken damage to Yuri to the point where the ship is now broken apart. But hopefully, having a look there at that mission, which is a training mission, I should be able to do that straight away. But in a way, it's good that I didn't, because you can see what the game is all about. It's a survival, it's a strategy to survival. So hopefully the video has been useful to someone. Hopefully my description hasn't been too vague or too fast. And hopefully you'll join me again for more Tharsis and we'll actually look at completing some of these missions. So until next time, I've been Helix, and this has been Tharsis.